All right, so I definitely need more pans. But Jack Balish, you were 100% right on that. They're going to town on their feed mixed with grainitis, or feed mixed with the whey, soaked, and using that stir. I'd seen people do that before and just thought it was maybe too much work. This is half their feed. Wanted to try it, see if they're, because when it's been hot, they haven't really been wanting to drink the whey. But they're sure going to town on it. So I'm gonna go mix up their other half and bring it out to them. Hopefully everybody gets their taste and moves on, so everybody gets a chance to eat. And looks like I'm gonna build some of those feeders like you had made with the half 55-gallon drums and some logs on either side. So yeah, good call. Thought I'd come in here and show that real quick. I did make the terrible mistake of flipping the bucket upside down and attempting to tap it out, and it slid out of my hands and sloshed stuff everywhere. But so get those filled. I'm not gonna let it fill this slow, but see the buckets are about a third-ish full, third to half. Yeah, somewhere around a third. Swap, hook. And this is, for those who haven't seen those talks yet, this is our goat's milk whey that we pick up once a week from a local farm and feed to the pigs. We feed about a barrel a day most of the year, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And here was Jack's suggestion. Jack Balish up at Aloha Acres, great guy. On mixing them, I got a drill with my tile mixer. There's still a little bit of dried white grout from our bathroom right on there that I couldn't get off. So I doubt it's gonna come off or bother them. It's been on there for over a year and a half. And I'm going slow because I went a little fast when I first put it in there and sloshed a bunch out on my feet. But it mixes really good. It's really easy. It's easier than I would have thought. Yeah, you can see where it sloshed out on the first one. Gotta go hit the edges too. The other one, I guess I didn't get deep enough because it was like solid down there. And that was what made me drop the bucket. I also probably should have stirred it a little, like shook it up a little right before dumping it in there to him, because I just imagine it's settled some. But there we go. I'm just hanging it on my wood chipper here. Oh my gosh, that was less than fun. Now my legs are covered. Yeah, so there you go. I'll link the video of us getting our whey at the end of this video. And yeah, you guys have already seen what it looks like with them going to town on it. I can hear them still arguing over it. So I'll go build some of those sometime in the next few weeks. If I can keep doing this and it goes all right, I'll build some longer troughs. But I'm also getting rid of one of them goes this Thursday, and then I'll set an appointment sometime in the next 2-3 weeks for another 2 of them at least, if not 3 or 4. It just depends on how much freezer space I get cleared out to go back out to USDA process in the next couple weeks. So yeah, stock up, get some more different cuts, just our normal cuts, because we don't have very many pork chops. There's just the one smaller one, or ham steaks or shoulder steaks or any of that kind of stuff. And then try to get some actual bratwursts. So yeah. All right, actually we're gonna come in the garage and talk for a sec. Because not thinking clearly, standing out there in the sun, and I've got AC running in here. Still dripping sweat. It's just shy of 100. I think it's, oh no, actually it was 101 when I looked. Tomorrow's 102. So, and it's like just shy of 5 o'clock. So it's very hot. Been working out in the sun all day. Our feed delivery, they screwed up. It was supposed to be delivered this morning, and they forgot to put it in on Friday. So like we called last week and they said they'd put it in and didn't put it in. So it's getting delivered first thing tomorrow morning. So to make up for it, they ran me out 4 bags of feed, so that was super fantastic. So it was neat also because I haven't done bagged feed in a little while, so it was neat to check my measurements, and I have been giving a little more than I thought feed-wise to everybody. Because you're the 50-pound bag, so like I have a set measurement, and it's been a while since we've done it, and I'm a little generous, I guess. I just kept overfilling buckets, thinking I was still at 25 pounds each. 25 is actually quite a bit less than what I was thinking. So I'll start readjusting probably a little. So I know that the feeders got 50 pounds. So there's 11 of them out there in that paddock, and they got 50 pounds because they got one whole bag to themselves between those 4 buckets that were about a third-ish full. So I guess it's roughly 2/3 to 3/4 full, not almost all the way full, is 25 pounds in a bucket. But so the benefit to trying out this method, this goes back to the heat issue. It's hot, right? And so trying to make sure that the pigs stay super hydrated. When it's this hot, we've been noticing that honestly, they're not drinking that much of the whey. They do all come up and get a drink, but like there's still whey in the bottoms of it, in the pans, a couple of inches. So it's not like when it hasn't been this hot, I mean, they drain it in 10 minutes. It's insane. There are days I can go through 2 or 3 barrels out to them and they'll just empty it all. But now that it's hot, I'm struggling to go through 1 barrel a day with them. Sometimes having to dump a little bit out to make sure that it's freshish, not exposed to the sun, sitting out baking. So the thought being that like soaking their feed will help keep them better hydrated in this heat, because then you know that they're getting some level of liquid. I mean, they've got their barrel, they've got a wallow full of water, and the barrel's getting constantly filled, probably twice a day with that many of them. I'm going out and double checking it and topping it off, just to make sure it stays cold and nice and that their wallow gets a top off. So it's not like I'm worried that they're not, but there's 11 of them and you never know, so worrisome. But if they're all getting feed, which they obviously are, then now I'll know that they're actually getting a little bit of moisture too. So, yeah. And also there's we may look to doing it a little longer at a time, because there is a difference. There's been some studies shown that soaked feed helps make, you obviously can't create nutrition out of nowhere. It has to already be in there somewhere, like the proteins and carbohydrates. It's not like fermenting or soaking feed creates magic nutrition out of thin air. What it does is it makes nutrition that's already there more bioavailable. So like, think about when you eat whole corn, right? Some of it comes back out. So same thing with pigs, like even cracked corn has shown to only make a little bit more of it bioavailable to them. It's a marginal amount, but soaking it allows it to begin to break down. It's the same thing when we're making, that's why trying to get back to like making beer. So when you make malt, you're sprouting grains to start to begin to convert some of those complex carbohydrates into sugars, those starches, breaks them down a little bit, then you dry them, and then you heat it in water. And what that does is it even further breaks that down to make it into simple sugars. And then the yeasts can activate on simple sugars. Well, it's the same thing. Soaking that grain breaks that down and makes the complex carbohydrates more bioavailable to the animal's gut, which obviously, if you're spending money on these super high feed prices, you want to get what you can out of it. So you don't want to waste any more of it than you have to going out the rear end. So I mean, there's that benefit, right? Like if this works out and it's the biggest kicker here is it has to be feasible for me to do, which I'm already carrying out 4 to 6 buckets every day to the feeder group. I may not soak feed for everybody, because that'll probably be more than a hassle that's worth it, but I'm already carrying out 2 buckets of grain and 4 buckets to 6 buckets of whey every day to those feeder pigs. So why not go ahead and just mixing it should add less than 5 minutes to my morning. So And if we're gonna try fermenting it, then I'd just be doing it the day before. So it'd still be, always doing one each day, at least while it's this hot. I imagine it shouldn't take more than 24-ish hours to ferment in this heat, but especially with something that's already got probiotics in it, like goat milk whey. But as it gets cooler, I imagine we'll need to let it sit a little longer, so we'll do like 2 days out or 3 days out, whatever, and just kind of keep an eye on it and see what it smells like. Yeah, so that's that. I think we're going to give that a go. I wish I could kind of do a test group, but we keep them all together, and I guess there are these little ones, but they're not going to be the same age, so it wouldn't really, kind of pair it out, so I can't really do a control group, but we'll just see how it goes. There's no incentive at this point, I guess, really for me not to, since I'm already having to carry out that many buckets of liquid and solid. Mixing them together just kind of makes sense. I will probably need to build some troughs. Jacques Balish, the one who had recommended this to me on the video I made about the boar, he did it in a Facebook comment. His barrels that he's feeding his soaked feed in, or his troughs, they're cut in half or third 55-gallon barrels with logs on either side, and then lag bolts holding the barrel to them. So I'll either get some 55-gallon drums to try that out, or maybe even I need to track down a bunch more of these 15 gallons to replace a bunch of these ones that have holes on top and are kind of a nightmare to deal with. So maybe I'll take some of these ones that are cracked or have a little hole in one spot and just cut it at an angle that hole is what gets cut, and then do that, because then it's a little narrower. I think that'll encourage them to step in it less. I worry that with the 55-gallon, and maybe Jack, you can comment on this, let me know if they are stepping in. You said they last about 5 years, which that's fantastic. Anything that lasts 5 years on a farm is wonderful. But I may try the 15s out just because I need to buy some more 15s anyways. So, yeah, I think that's all I got. Thank you, folks.